Somin?
Yeah, I complain about high cost, but then we teach cost-benefit analysis. And we wouldn't this if benefit were not greater than the cost, but it's costly again. And as you know, all the tuition money goes to central administration and it's distributed back to the business school. There isn't much we can do about that, but we could hire more professors for sure. It's our problem to find qualified professors. We tend to have enough slots from the university. And to be more concrete, we set aside like 200 grand for annual budget for accreditation. Half of it comes from the central administration, the other half comes from our money generated from fundraising or executive programs. And other than that, we were able to hire 2 full-time staff members, one for accreditation, the other for assurance of learning, and that helps. And once you have staff members, it's hard to fire them, so we keep them. So, what else?
And my case is a little different.
You said 200,000, is that US
200,000 US dollars.
My case was a little different. I probably have about 10,000 a year that goes for my dues and supporting people go to the annual meetings. In 8 years as dean, my budget's been cut 6 times. I'd have to go through details how we did it, but bottom line is we just became even more productive and effective with the resources we have. And for example, assurance of learning, I don't have any extra staff for that. It's a faculty-derived and faculty-conducted process. Joe pointing out that you don't have to do every goal every year. You know, being rational and managing that process. The intellectual contributions, I mentioned this faculty member that was full professor and had not published in 20 years. My predecessors had come up with these research grants. This individual had received 3 of them and had never published. So putting little things like, in our case, when you get a research grant, you only get 50% of it, and you get the other half after the paper has been submitted. And if you want a second grant, then we want to see what happened to the first one. It's amazing how the request for research grants plummeted. We also said that if you get a research grant, then when it comes time for annual evaluation, which is something that I have the authority, maybe it's different in your school, we have some expectations of annual performance. And if you get a research grant, then you have higher expectations. You know, to him who much is given, much is expected. So that too has reduced the request for research grants. And our travel budget, I have exactly the same dollar per faculty member for travel as I had 8 years ago. And I have money left over each year now.
Let me share one more news with you. Several years ago, when I was not a dean, the previous dean, he also has the problem of budget cut. Then, you know, we went to see the president. We talked to him saying that we were the first accredited school in Taiwan. And that news was in some corner on the 3rd or 4th page of the newspaper. But if we were not reaccredited, you know, we believe it will be on the headline of the first page. So he said, what are you trying to tell me? I say, we need more resources. Otherwise, we won't get reaccredited. So you have better give it to me. So that year we didn't get a budget cut. So we think negotiating is kind of also important.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the one more idea to share with you.
Very valuable point. I was at an institution that had been accredited and then lost accreditation. And the Jesuit president didn't feel HSB was that valuable. He said, we don't need them. Let's just say he changed his mind a couple of years after that. Once you've got it, you want to keep it. But, as pointed out, the cost benefit is worth it. The whole process, and because it's good, effective management of the organization that pays off.
Just to help you with this process, we are having quite a lot of events in Asia. Between October this year and next June, there's going to be 9 different events hosted, either Singapore, Shanghai. I'm going to have one in India, something in Taiwan. These are all quote locally hosted seminars. And we will have another conference. We had our first Asia Regional Conference in May. We're going to have our next one in May again. We had, I said 200 earlier, but it was 190 attendees this time at the conference. There's your networking things you can do there. We didn't have... there was not a single person from the US at the conference except some staff. So it was very local. We had a lot of Asians, but also Australia and New Zealand people came as well. So we're trying our best to bring it to you so you don't have to spend too much on travel. And it's just maybe that's a help to you. So, if you want to know more about costs, I can give you them, but I didn't want to go down the cost list, unless you want me to.